Hey, how you doing? I'm Hendrik Booz, and I'm going to be your dual enrollment English 111 and English 112 teacher this year. We're excited to offer this course to juniors through the online campus, and so we are kind of experimenting a little bit. We've always taught it to seniors. So congratulations on being not just guinea pigs, but brave and adventurous souls. So what's DE really going to be about? Well, it's writing. If you love writing, great. If you're not good at writing, even better, because I'm here to help you do that. This isn't a traditional English course where you're doing a ton of literature or reading literature, or maybe even analyzing texts the same way that you will in this class. You're going to be doing a lot of nonfiction reading through the Bedford Reader, the 13th edition of that book, something that we're going to give you access to online through Google Classroom. And so one of the things that our goal is to do is to have you write 15 to 20 pages of work per semester. You're going to have a lot of time every week to do draft work and get feedback from me. So each week you're going to do a little bit of reading on articles or maybe grammar or to some degree steps for writing. You're going to always be doing some writing, and you're going to be doing some skill work with discussion boards, maybe grammar, using something we call No Red Ink, which is an online grammar tool that Fairfax County offers us. But you're going to be doing all of this through Google Classroom. So if you're not really familiar with Google Classroom, the first weeks might be a little bit rough. Blackboard is something that you guys have used in the past, and that's where you're going to access your Blackboard Collaborate Ultra session. So if you remember at the end of last year, there was camera capabilities and things like that. And while we don't require you to be on camera, you do have to speak every chat. And chats are going to be on Tuesday evenings from 8 to 9 p.m. So once I put the kids to bed, my 7-year-old daughter named Madeline and my 5-year-old boy named William, who I'm sure you'll meet. They love talking to kids on the computer. We're going to engage in discussion, a little bit of lecture, but I try to keep that to fewer than 10 minutes. And a lot of small group and large group discussion. And so how is the class going to be graded? Well, the writing is the key, right? So you're going to have, again, 15 to 20 pages of formal essays handed in at the end of the year. We'll start out with personal narrative. So I'm going to help you get a head start on your college essays, which aren't due for a year, but the Common App is reusing a lot of its prompts. And so I want you to be able to use those. And that's going to be worth 60%, the final output. Your weekly output is graded holistically. Did you complete all the activities to the best of your abilities and to high standards? That's an A. Did you complete them but maybe have some issues with some of the grammar, or maybe didn't fully develop your ideas? That would be a B. Did you miss something? That would be a C. Did you miss more than something, like the reading, no discussion board, but you did some of the writing? That would be a D, and if you don't hand something in, that's an F. Now, Fairfax County and Nova have slightly different policies on grading, but there is a deduction for late work, and that's 20%. So right off the bat, you're going to drop 2 letter grades if you submit late work. All work is going to be due at 8 a.m. on Tuesday. So that gives you a full week because that evening we're going to move to the next unit. So we'll do introductions and things like that on Tuesday this week. Then the following week, you're going to be working on those writing introductions, kind of giving me some writing samples, and also engaging in the discussion boards. So then you have the weekend if you want to do it. Some of you guys are going to be, burdened with your class work on Mondays, the asynchronous days in Fairfax County, but you'll have time to do that then. One other major difference is that this is a college course. You're going to receive college credit, 3 credits for 111 and 3 credits for 112 if you do well, if you earn a C or higher. And so we are going to expect about 5 hours of work offline, or what we call asynchronously, each week. And that may be 2 to 3 for some of you. It may be 6 to 7 for others who work a little slower. Obviously, if you need extensions, you're going to have to reach out to me. This is, again, a college course. And so much the same way you will in college or in the workforce, the military, wherever you head, you're going to need to, instruct your supervisor, me, if you need a little bit of extra time. But I'm there to work for you. So that's 60 plus 20% for the weekly worksheets, and then another 20% for chat. And chat is basically graded holistically as well. A students are driving conversation, participating, citing text, giving examples, offering some feedback to their peers. B students may talk once or twice every chat. C students are there. We expect you. The average is that you show up every week. You're doing the shared docs. You're filling out the exit tickets. D students in chat are not participating. They're not speaking at all. Maybe they don't do the exit ticket each chat. They don't complete the shared docs, and F students are not showing up and not informing me. Now, Fairfax County's online campus policy is that if you miss 5 days of work, i.e. you miss a week of work, we inform you right away. We reach out to you, and that will be me emailing you and your parents. And then I offer you, some sort of recompense or some sort of not makeup for Nova, but I offer you a chance to submit your work. If after 10 days you miss your work, then unfortunately we do have to correspond with your guidance counselor, the online campus administrators, and the online campus principal, at which point they'll determine and reach out to your parents if this is the right fit for you. So just know that there's some varying policies with the online campus as opposed to your base schools. If after 15 days you have no work, you're immediately dropped from the class, which sounds extreme, and we know that you're not those students, so don't worry about that. So how are you going to access the course? What are you going to actually do? Well, let me show you. I got to switch screens here. Right now, you guys can see that I'm in a Google Classroom. Now, if you're not familiar with this, when you log into Google Classroom, and you can do this in a variety of ways, you can type Classroom. You have to be into your Fairfax or fcpsschools.net account. You're going to see all of your classes, and I'm enrolled in a lot of online classes here through the DE program. You're going to click on, obviously, English 111 DE composition. Well, you don't know how to use Google Drive. You're not really familiar with that. Well, then we go back to the handy old Blackboard, which really doesn't have a ton of information for this course and is only a shell for the syllabus and for your parents to kind of reach out to me if you need it. You're going to see your courses. Now, I have disabled all of my courses because we're just going to focus on this one. So you're going to click on this. Mr. Greasy is my boss. He is the department chair at the online campus, and I'm William Hendrick Booz. W. Booz. So you guys can see announcements, and this has the opening letter that I sent you all. If you want to enroll in our Google Classroom, you need to join with this code, and that's EM5YCMP. So if you could, please go ahead and do that right now. Again, you're going to go to Blackboard, you hit Google Classroom, and then I'm already enrolled. It takes me right to that course. Again, I'm going to point that out one more time. That is EM5YCMP. All right, so now that we have that, how does the course look? Well, in the stream, you're going to see a whole bunch of things that I've posted. Some of this is likely to change, and for the 5 or 6 kids who've already enrolled, they're going to be a little frustrated maybe because I'm throwing things up there that I'll work on a little bit more today and tomorrow and give to you. But your classwork looks like this. You have logistics, and I arrange everything in what's called the archival fashion. So the oldest material, orientation, which I want you to finish by this Tuesday, September 8th, and you can see the due dates down here. Is obviously before week 1, where we do introductions and getting to know you and some basics. And so this assignment right here is something I want you to complete before Tuesday, right? 5 kids have already signed up for class. That's great. You click on this, everybody gets a copy, and you fill this whole thing out. And so it has all sorts of materials, and I'm going to send this out via Blackboard one more time. It has a bunch of hyperlinks, and I want you to get a digital photo of yourself. So this video is meant to kind of introduce you to class, and you're going to have to read the syllabus. And so how do we, access this material? Well, that's all in Classroom. So you go up here, you click on the syllabus, boom. And this is mainly information from Northern Virginia Community College, because obviously it runs these dual enrollment programs. It has all my contact information up here, and then it is 10 pages, but I'm going to point out a couple of elements of the course that we want you to kind of focus on. And so I'm going to scroll through here. Our main idea is for you to develop both process, and you do that through the weekly worksheets, and then obviously product. And this is where you're going to have expository or really essay-based arguments, thesis-driven arguments. Eventually, you guys are going to do a longer research paper in both 111 and 112, where you'll do a fuller paper. But the overall goal, again, is to have 15 to 20 pages of finished graded text. So if you don't think that you can write about 3 to 5 pages per 2 weeks, then this may not be the course for you. I'm not trying to scare you off. I am here to help you. And I've taught DE both at Nova and through Fairfax County before, so we know what we expect of you. Then you go through, there's some grading information. Northern Virginia Community College is broken up into semesters, so if you earn a C or a higher, you can get credit for this course. Quarter 1 is 45, quarter 2 is 45, and there'll be a semester final exam. We'll figure out how that works if you have to stay at home. If you don't have to stay at home, or Fairfax County lifts the lockdown or distance learning, then that will take place at Marshall High School, which is my base school. For Fairfax County, the overall grades look like this per quarter: 20% per quarter, boom, 10% per exam to equal 100. Now, many of the DE courses use a weighted grade book. The emphasis is on the final essays, and so your final essays, which are final in grade, so you get feedback throughout the drafting process, but the final grade is something that you cannot reassess or anything like that, is worth 60%, weekly work 20%, and then weekly chat 20%. How is all of that graded? As I said before, we're looking for weekly worksheets to be full, completed. Do you engage with the texts? Do you develop your ideas where appropriate? And do you follow conventions? Modern Language of America, MLA formatting, punctuation, mechanics, grammar, usage, elements that are included both in Virginia Department of Education standards, Fairfax County standards of learning, and obviously standards for the college course at Northern Virginia Community College. Weekly chat, A, are you consistent? Are you actively engaged? B, are you completing everything but may only may only speak when I'm calling on you, or when you're forced to do so in a breakout session? C, you're showing up, but you may not have completed everything. D, you're not showing up and you're not doing any of watching the recordings or completing the work tickets and reaching out to me. And then F, never really happens for our courses because you guys are all stellar. So again, the two main things I want you to remember right now is how the course is set up. 60% for final essays, 20% for weekly work, and 20% for the weekly chat grades, with 15 to 20 pages of finished writing, which is a Northern Virginia Community College and Virginia Community College System standard. All of this information here is FERPA information from Northern Virginia Community College and policies. You have full access to campus services, which is great. So that's tutoring, library, counseling services, which are obviously on lockdown as well, but they're there for you. And then if you're struggling with anything, mentally or even financially, and you need to seek out services, Northern Virginia Community College has a much more robust system than maybe you're experienced at Fairfax. And so this is Nova Cares, and that's something you can access here. There is a drop date. So if this is not the course for you, there is a drop date, which is called the census date. Northern Virginia Community College will get that back to us on that one. And it's typically in late September, early October. If you do not drop the course by that date, on your transcript, it'll go in as withdrawal failing if you were failing, or withdrawal passing WP if you were passing. So there's a whole bunch of information here. We're going to be doing a great deal of revision work. So you are going to be paired up, giving constructive feedback. Some of that is graded, some of that is ungraded. The typical concept here when you grade or revise in Google Docs is that you should be reading about 10 times more than maybe your final assessment would be. So that typically means that you're drafting for 10 hours for a final paper that that may be 4 pages long or something like that. Everything is due an electronic copy through Google Classroom at 8 a.m. on Tuesday morning, the day of the final assignment. This is generic information because this is also, some teachers teach on Monday, some teachers teach on Thursdays, sorry. Reading assignments are going to be done through the Bedford Reader again. That's something we'll give you access to, and if you go through Google Classroom, I can show you where to find that. Everything is done through Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. And how do you access the course? And so here, when you log in, Blackboard is the only place where you're able to do this. This link is nowhere else. You click on Blackboard Collaborate Ultra, pop in here. There's a junior year session. It opens up. You join that session. My link is as the teacher. Your link is as the student. So it automatically is linked to your account. If you're unfamiliar with this, you can click on this button over here. This is the Collaborate panel. I'm the only one here right now. I expect you to turn your mics on. I expect you to share your video if you care to. Again, you do not have to. So that's something that we don't often do just because there's a lot of lag time. As you can see, it's not popping up right there. And the settings will be such that you're always going to have everything turned off when you first log on. And how do you leave? Well, there's chats here. You can say stuff. You can use emoticons. If you click here, my status, I'm going to ask you if you agree or disagree. Give me some feedback at the beginning so we can kind of check your mental health. And then if you leave, boom, leave session. It's going to ask you to do a little survey. I skip it because I do this every day. There's a little bell and you're good to go. So again, you're going to log in through Blackboard. This is called the BBCU, Blackboard Collaborate Ultra link. No Red Ink is going to be our grammar program, and we'll talk more about that later. If you need to reach out to me, if your parents need to reach out to me, here's my email. This is my desk at home with my fiddly fig at the end of last year. Thought I'd just add a fun picture. Access to the syllabus. This is something that your parents can review with you. And if you need help with Blackboard, obviously there is that feature right there. So hopefully that explains how class works and kind of a little bit about class. I know this is a somewhat tedious video to listen to, but I welcome you to class. Tuesday nights are going to be great. Make some tea, be ready, and look forward to a great year. Thanks. Have a good one.